I'm Dr. Emma Nichols, and this is the new FDA Approvals Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope your year is getting off to an amazing start. Well, we don't have any approvals this week, but I will talk about a couple of upcoming things that may be of interest. And also, there was something to do with a state's approval of the ability to import drugs specifically from Canada. So I'll talk about that. So it's kind of paradigm changing, maybe. We'll see. All right. So the FDA has approved Florida's request to import certain drugs from Canada, which is the first time an individual state has been authorized to buy lower cost medications in bulk from abroad. Florida's plan calls for importing medications for several illnesses for residents covered by certain public programs, including Medicaid enrollees and inmates. The state of Florida filed its proposal with the FDA in 2020, initially wanting to import drugs to treat chronic health conditions such as HIV/AIDS, mental illness, and prostate cancer, according to a press release from the governor's office. The state would make the imported drugs available to patients at county health departments. Florida expects to save up to $180 million in the first year and around $183 million once the program is fully implemented. 7 other states, including Colorado, Maine, and Texas, have passed laws that would allow them to create state drug importation programs. The action is being opposed by the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America Group, PhRMA, and that they have stated concerns about patients being harmed because of imports. This is very well covered in the news, so you can always Google it if you'd like more information. But there's a link to a CNN article and also the Florida Governor's Office press release in the show notes. So again, there were no new FDA approvals this week, but there was an interesting article from biopharmadive.com discussing 5 FDA decisions to watch out for in the first quarter of 2024. And I've taken those 5 drugs and just rewritten or written some things independent of that article and included some additional information, and I will discuss each of those. So we have, first of all, Donanemab for Alzheimer's disease. This drug is from Eli Lilly, and it's poised to become a major Alzheimer's treatment if approved by the FDA. Phase 3 clinical trial results reported in 2023 showed that Donanemab significantly slowed cognitive and functional decline in people with early symptomatic Alzheimer's disease, either mild cognitive impairment or mild dementia. At 1 year, 47% of participants on Donanemab showed no decline in a measure called CDR-SB, that's Clinical Dementia Rating Sum of Boxes, and that's a measure of disease severity. And that 47% with Donanemab was compared to 29% of participants on placebo. So that p-value was very significant at 0.001. According to Lilly, this is the first phase 3 trial of any investigational measure for Alzheimer's disease to deliver 35% slowing of clinical and functional decline. Donanemab targets a modified form of beta amyloid called N3pG in plaques associated with Alzheimer's, and that facilitates their clearance from the brain. FDA approval of Donanemab is expected in early 2024. Also, Resmetirom is the second agent called out in this article by biopharmadive.com. So resmetirom is an oral thyroid hormone receptor, THR beta selective agonist designed to target key underlying causes of nonalcoholic steatohepatitis or NASH. Data from the phase 3 Maestro NASH trial presented at the AASLD liver meeting in November 2023 demonstrated improvement in both fibrosis and NASH resolution. NASH is rapidly becoming the leading cause of liver transplantation in the U.S. There are currently no FDA-approved therapies available for its treatment. Resmetirom, as an agonist of thyroid hormone receptor, promotes the uptake of free fatty acids and has multiple additional effects that increase the ability of the liver to process fat. Resmetirom, being manufactured by Madrigal Pharmaceuticals, is currently under priority review with a target date of March 14th, 2024. Also mentioned in the article is Sotatercept, which has shown potential in treating pulmonary arterial hypertension, PAH. Sotatercept was acquired by Merck through the purchase of Acceleron Pharma. The FDA accepted a biologics license application for Sotatercept for priority review in September 2023. The application is based on clinical meaningful results from the phase 3 STELLAR trial. Sotatercept is a novel activin signaling inhibitor. The FDA has set a PDUFA date of March 26, 2024. And now a word from the supporter of this podcast, Nascent Medical. Is your company in need of medical writing assistance? Visit nascentmc.com. That's nascentmc.com. Our native English-speaking MD and PhD level medical writers create fast turnaround needs assessments, medical news pieces, manuscripts, slide decks, ad board summaries, and much, much more, all for the price of what you would pay just a regular freelancer. But we have a much wider selection and a background in the specialty that you need. Nascent Medical, nascentmc.com. We're here so that you never have to be without excellent medical writing help. So also called out as an upcoming approval is Lifileucel, which is in phase 3 trials for melanoma. Lifileucel is the first tumor-infiltrating lymphocyte therapy, TIL therapy, for advanced melanoma. Lifileucel is manufactured by Iovance Biotherapeutics. If approved, Lifileucel will be the first and only TIL therapy for patients with advanced melanoma, as well as the first one-time cell therapy for a solid tumor cancer. Lifileucel is an individualized therapy being evaluated for patients with advanced melanoma who progressed on or after prior anti-PD-1/L1 therapy and targeted therapy where applicable. According to a manufacturer press release, there are no FDA-approved therapies for this treatment setting. The FDA decision for Lifileucel is expected in mid-February. And the last agent mentioned is Donanemab, which, if approved, would be the first and only bispecific antibody approved for both follicular lymphoma and diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, DLBCL. These are the two most common subtypes of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Donanemab is being developed by Resmetirom Pharmaceuticals. It is a CD20/CD3 bispecific antibody that binds to CD3 on native T cells and CD20 on malignant and non-malignant B cells, triggering T cell-mediated cytotoxicity against the B cells. The biologics license application, BLA, was supported by data from a phase 1 and pivotal phase 2 trial, ELM-1 and ELM-2, respectively. The target action date for Donanemab is March 31st, 2024. So I just wanted to let you know about a new resource I'm developing to help medical writers, editors, and anybody else really who is in the healthcare or pharmaceutical industry learn and implement the AMA Manual of Style. We've all heard of that, right? And we all have to do some writing that involves understanding what's in the AMA Manual of Style from time to time. Most of us, anyway. If you're listening to this podcast, I would assume that's true. So do visit learnamastyle.com for several free downloads and resources so that you can make those editorial decisions with more confidence and you don't have to spend as much time looking things up. So visit learnamastyle.com. Thanks so much. All right, that's it for this week. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll visit me every Monday morning right here on wherever you're listening to your podcasts for all the information on the latest FDA approvals. Thanks so much.